Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today we're going to be installing a master cylinder brace on my 2017 Nissan GTR. If you've ever taken it out for a track day or even just done some aggressive driving, you'll understand that when you press the brake pedal, you get the initial squishy feeling, and then when you press a little bit harder, it pushes in a little bit more, kind of giving it not that full resistance that you're looking for. There's a lot of different manufacturers that make these master cylinder braces, and while they may look slightly different, they're really essentially the same thing, and they're all going to be installed using the same 2 bolts in the same area. We're going to first start by removing the brake fluid cover. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. This is your brake master cylinder. When you push the brake pedal, this whole fixture will push out this way. Essentially, you're driving pressure into here, and it's gonna push this whole assembly this way. And what we're looking at with the strut brace is it's gonna mount right up against this solid part right here, so that when there's any deflection, it'll stop it from pushing further. And how it's gonna be mounting is 2 small bolts. One right there. Can't really see the other one. There's 2 bolts down in there that we're gonna remove. But first, we need to get some room, so let's get this wire cable out of the way. In order to remove it, go to this side, and you're just gonna squeeze this with the pliers while pulling on the back side. There we go. It's also easier to remove this whole plastic area. What you can do is remove these 4 holders and then pop the whole thing out. Let's get a flat blade screwdriver, pop up under, 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. Just kidding, there's one more right here. And this whole piece is removed. Just gonna move this to the side right there. This should give you much better access. So now you can clearly see the 2 bolts that we're gonna be removing, 1 and 2. Then on the opposite side, right here, is what we're gonna be removing. So let's get those out. Looks like it's gonna be a 12mm socket head. We'll see if we can get this. There we go. All right, 1 bolt down, 1 to go. And 2 bolts out. So here's gonna be the trickiest part. You're gonna need to get this mounted in there. So you're gonna have to snake it through. Found starting with the plunger to be the easiest. Going down and through here. Getting it down below, under this hose, and then rotating it back into place. Just like that. All right, now within position, you can see how it actually works. Plunger right here, pushing against the brake master cylinder, and we're gonna be putting mounting screws back through those 2 factory bolt holes, and that will secure it into place. So first, let's get the bolts put in there. Your kit should have came with some extra hardware, including these longer bolts, to be able to go all the way through the assembly. The hardware should be the same thread as the factory, so that it'll feed right in. You can just start it by hand. Then you'll do that for the other bolt hole. Start it by hand and feed all the way through. So you can see now with the bolts fully through, you have enough room on the threads to be able to get a nut on. So here's gonna be the hardest part. You gotta put the nut on without dropping it. Just jamming your fingers in there and getting it started is the key to this. And then getting the second nut on very carefully. There we go. I'll just tighten these babies down. All right, and you're just gonna wanna do them hand tight, just enough to snug them into place. They shouldn't be going anywhere. All right, with that tightened down, we can now move to the plunger. You're just gonna wanna spin it until it makes contact. You're gonna wanna do it as tight as you can with your fingers. I know it's tricky to get in there. All right, that should be good. Now in order to lock it into place, we'll just move this nut and secure it against here. And then we'll just tighten that down. All right, now your plunger should be set in there so that any deflection that comes from the master cylinder should push against that plunger, which will lock it into place. All right, we can give a little test here. Just pressing on the brake. Oh, dang. That's substantial. That's actually far more solid than I was expecting. You can feel it pushing against that plunger, that brace. Wow. Honestly, a little bit surprised on how strong it actually is. That makes a big difference. All right, well, great success. Now let's put it back together. Put this cover back on. There's an internal clip right under here. It has to go in. Pop that down. And then just put these body clips in. Like my bald spot. Cover on. Voila. All right, let's fire this baby up.